G'day guys, welcome to the latest episode of Beyond the Tape. It's been a little bit of a while because of nationals and all the hecticness that was going on there, but everything I did over there seems to have had great response. Everyone's been stoked on what I did, and it was a really great trip. So thanks to everyone that made that possible. Some of the people that made that possible were the sponsors of this podcast. So firstly, Canyon Bikes, they've come on hugely for 2021, as you know. They just released a bunch of new e-bikes, so they're all coming to Australia now, like the Torque On, 180mm kind of self-shuttling downhill bike, 27.5 inch. If you're anywhere like Adelaide, where I'm from, we have zero shuttle access to pretty much anywhere publicly. So to have an e-bike where you can go and do punch out downhill runs until your heart's content is epic. If you're looking for more of a trail ride bike, the new Spectral On, mullet setup, really cool, kind of do everything, longer ride, trail bike, etc. Absolutely killer value as well. So jump over to canyon.com and those guys will be able to sort you out. We've also got Two Up Bike Co. Those guys were huge support in Medina. They're doing things like Noble wheels, Factor hubs and pedals, stems. They're also looking at some other products coming in the near future. So keep an eye on those guys. Go follow them on Instagram. If you want any of their rad products, hit up your shop, get them to hit up Two Up, and they'll get your products to your store, or hit them up directly and they'll be able to help you out. We have also got NSDynamics on, their longtime sponsor of this podcast. They do products like Olin's, DVO, Four-sprung. They do suspension tuning, and they're my number one go-to for any suspension kind of servicing. They do a super quick turnaround, depending on Ozpost, which is, you know, slower than the rebound on my fork. But they do some really cool stuff. Hit them up, send them inquiries. They'll help you tune your bike. They'll give you shock setup options and a bunch of other things. We've also got Huck The World on. They've been a long time sponsor as well. Go over to their website, check out their new range of tech tees. They've got some new tech shorts as well, 2.0s. They look sick. Unfortunately, they don't make any in my fat ass size, but if they did, I would be jumping on them straight away. Again, use Beyond the Tape 10 and you'll get 10% discount at the checkout for those guys. You've also got Dirtsurfer. They've sponsored us by giving us a bunch of mud guards. If you want to support us and support them, just jump over to their website. Beyond the Tape will give you 15% off of any of their rad things, or if you want to jump over to my website, spend $29.95, help out the podcast, keep this thing running. Pretty rad little deal. Krush Oz are also helping out the podcast now. They're doing some rad products. Hopefully we're going to do some more media projects and some other things for those guys in the future. Matt's stoke for mountain biking is second to none, and that really shows through his product. The best cleaning gear, the best detailing gear, and even your best anti-smelling gear. I don't even know what to call it, but Sanex has been amazing. It's my number one go-to thing. Spray your pads after a ride, chuck them on your car, all good to go. Got a bit of man flu from Medina, so sorry about the voice and the sniffing. Yeah, it was an epic trip and it was great. And yeah, can't thank anyone that helped me out enough to get me over there, especially Frenchie from Medina helping me out with a few things, and we'll be doing some projects with those guys in the future as well. Anyway, on to the next episode. It's a big one. It's with someone by the nickname of Nunga. She was really moving up in the BMX world, really killing it. Someone decided to get her on a mountain bike. Of course, she bloody loved it. Who doesn't? As soon as you jump on a bike, you love it. Somehow managed to get an invite to go to Rotorua and race in the World Champ 4-Cross or the Crankworx 4-Cross event there. Unfortunately, had a huge accident, and we go into the story and what's been happening since then. She's not as well known as what she should be. So again, this podcast is kind of around to bring out those people that aren't well known. So jump over and follow her photography, her writing, her everything, because it is inspirational to say the least, and I think this podcast is the same. So as usual, grab a beer, grab a water, grab a wine, grab whatever makes you happy, have a listen, and I hope you enjoy this podcast.
Had a good weekend? Everything tracking all right?
Yeah, pretty lazy actually. I burnt my knee on my electric motor last week on my bike, so yeah, I can't ride because it's got a nice big burn.
That's insane. Like, obviously you can't feel that at all.
Nah, didn't even realize it was happening. Like, yeah,
that a whole like thing is always just amazed me that you can't. I don't know how to put it in words. Like,
yeah,
like Grant Allen, obviously he was telling me like how you have to just check your shoes for like spiders and stuff, like instantly. And I got another friend of mine, or a friend of a friend, who races like road cycling as well, and he burnt through his leg with his tire.
Yeah,
it's insane. Is it bad?
It's starting to heal now, so hopefully only a couple more weeks and it should be good. But like straight away, like the top layer of skin was like already sheened off, and
What? So was it from the heat, or was it from like the rotation?
Nah, so we'd done like a 12K ride, and it had heated up a fair bit.
Yeah.
And then I was just trying to get out like off, and obviously my knee had just leant over onto it, and
right. So just touched it or something and just burnt it.
Yeah, I don't know how long it was touching it, because I was trying to get out, and it wasn't like it was my partner who saw it first. He's like, "Holy shit, look!" Oh no.
What's like? Let me know if these are dumb questions or anything. But what's it like? Were you surprised and like shocked or anything, or were you just like, what? Do you panic at all? Like when you look down and see it, or like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of like, oh shit, like that one's not gonna be nice, but yeah, like I was like, oh, we don't need to rush like to the hospital or anything.
Yeah,
like I can't feel it; it's all good. She'll be fine.
That's so good.
Yeah.
All right, so we can either start with that or go from a bit of an introduction. But I always like starting with just random convo.
Yeah, fair enough.
But so just for those that are listening at home, and kind of for myself as well, do you mind just giving us a brief introduction of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so my name's Renee Junga. Used to ride BMX and mountain bikes, and then until I had a spinal cord injury in 2006. And then just recently, like last year, got myself an adaptive mountain bike and getting back into it.
So you still ride mountain bikes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just differently.
Yeah, exactly. How long have you been racing BMX for, or riding BMX? It's quite a while, right?
Yeah, so I started when I was 5. So yeah, up until till I had my accident at 20, so 15 years of BMX, yeah.
Yeah, right. What kind of got you into the sport? Like, what was it?
So I got 2 older brothers, stepbrothers, and an older brother, and yeah, they were all into racing, and I was sitting watching and decided that it's boring watching, and I wanted to give it a go.
So it's an all too common story, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
What year was it when you kind of started?
Yeah, so 91 was when I started racing. Yeah. I had trainer wheels on, and my stepdad wouldn't let me race until I got off the trainer wheels. So it was straight away, like, go home, take them off, get onto it.
Just super keen to get out on the track.
Yeah.
That's so good. What was the scene like? So were you up in Queensland and stuff at the same time, or?
No, so I grew up in Adelaide until I was 17. Yeah, so down at Hallett Cove started.
Yeah, right. There's still like a super thriving scene down there. I actually went with a ride with one of the dads from down there today.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
The track looks way better these days, like with that slick surface and everything. Like, it's so pristine compared to what we were on, like sketchy as like Dolomite and.
It's almost like kids don't know how to ride on loose surfaces on a BMX anymore. So you would have been racing like Happy Valley and the Cove and like Tea Tree Gully and stuff, or was it mainly around? Yeah.
Yeah, we travelled pretty much all over SA to ride. Yeah.
That at that time point, I think it would have been a pretty big scene, right?
Yeah, I think at that stage it was. Like over the years, obviously ebbed and flowed, but yeah,
It's coming back right now. Like it's
Yeah.
massive. Yeah, it's huge down here.
that's awesome. Because they just started that Sam Willoughby track too, didn't they, this week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's
apparently
gonna be
he's
gnarly.
coming down here. Is the
Yeah.
rumor? I heard
Cool.
he's moving back. So yeah.
Nice.
What did you? So you raced for 15 years from like 91, you said.
Yeah.
Were you like aiming to get to like a national world level, or were you just like stoked to be on the bike?
So I did get to like national and world level. Yeah, we only sort of did a few nationals. Like we weren't super rich or anything. So whenever nationals were like close, we did like in the state or like Melbourne where we could drive to. We did those. And then when I was 17, like the worlds were in Perth.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we did those ones, and then after that, did each worlds up until 2006.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's intense. What was it? All you and your brothers traveling around?
When I was younger, and then as they got older, they a couple of them, my two stepbrothers dropped out of the sport, and then it was just me and my brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty epic for your parents to be traveling around with 4 children
Yeah.
around to BMX races. That's intense.
Yeah. I was always stuck in the middle because I was the smallest, like backseat.
How was the family experience going around and racing? That would have been like you
Yeah, it
couldn't
was-
replace that.
Yeah, like the amount of country that we've seen just from racing BMX and whatever. It's I look back on it now and it's pretty crazy how much we did actually travel and see.
I think that's like a lot of kids might not like it when they're actually doing it because they're stuck in the middle seat between their two
Yeah.
brothers. But then like you grow older and you get that massive respect for that time.
Yeah, definitely.
And so what was it like when you achieved like going to nationals and riding and maybe going to a few worlds as well? Was it quite a good feeling of achievement or?
Yeah, nationals was always like, back in the day, was like huge because everyone raced at the same time. Like these days they do it in block systems where like, not everyone's at the track at the same time. But back then it was like huge. You'd spend the whole day and do like 3 races. And it was just like next level sort of experience. Like, so many people just all in the one place for the one thing. It's awesome.
That's so good. I wish they still did like just big race events like that.
Yeah. Like I can understand why they've gone to the way they do. Like no one wants to sit around the track all day, but at the time it was awesome.
I don't know. I'd like sitting around the track all day watching races. I think it'd be pretty all right.
Yeah, true.
So when did mountain biking become a thing?
Like 2000, the start of 2006, the nationals at Threadbow. Scott Sharples was coaching like the Australian team at that time, and lent me a bike because I was down in Melbourne. So they do the track attack. It's like 5 races in 7 days or something silly, and then the mountain bike nationals were on the Wednesday, and a whole bunch of BMXers were driving up. So I think I bummed a lift up there with Luke Medill and stayed on a couch at his accommodation and raced a borrowed bike. Just 4-cross,
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Was it a big transition going from like the super lightweight tiny BMX to the mountain bike?
Yeah, it was like wicked though, because it's kind of like the same skills and experience, but so much like grittier and it was I don't know, I fell in love with it straight away because it was like the same but different and new experience, and everyone was so much more laid back, it seemed, at mountain bike events than BMX.
Especially at that time period, like there was a lot of hero dads probably around the BMX track at that point.
Yeah, well, the Olympics were coming up, like 2008 was the first Olympics, and everyone was like so serious trying to be the first people to go. So
Was that like on your cards as well, or were you just?
yeah, I was like, training on the team, like part of the squad, but
Yeah, right.
yeah.
That would have been, yeah. What's like, what was your mindset like thinking about going to the Olympics?
I don't know, it's pretty crazy, like, but honestly, like, I probably, like, once I got that taste of mountain bikes, I was
Yeah,
like,
okay.
yeah, like, still kind of trained for it, but, like, honestly, it wasn't as much, like, yeah.
Yeah. Came over to the dark side.
Yeah.
Because that would have been the prime of like four cross and stuff in Australia as well, right? Like 06, 07
Yeah.
that time. Yeah, because it faded out around 10 or 11-ish, but...
Yeah, well, for the nationals that I raced, well, I think Jill Kittner got first, Caroline Buchanan got second, and Tracy Hanna got third. Like,
Yeah, okay.
all in four cross, like, it was huge, yeah.
And probably raced downhill the next day or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. Where did you place at that race? Do you remember?
Fourth.
Yeah, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That was your first.
Yeah, on a borrowed bike, like, never ridden a mountain bike before. Like,
That's insane.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
How many heads turned around and started looking in your direction after that? Was it a pretty big like milestone?
Nah, not really. Like,
Okay.
yeah, just continued on BMX sort of stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fourth at your first race on a borrowed bike is, what bike was it? Do you remember?
Was it the giant, it was a hardtail.
The STP.
That's the one, yeah.
Arguably the best bike ever. But
Yeah, I ended up buying one. It was pretty rad.
Connor Fearon had one. I think probably Troy had one at the time. I used to race one because they were just like a hardtail with gears. And it was the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could race cross country, do everything on that thing.
Yeah, it was rad.
How long after that race how long did it take you to buy a mountain bike? Did it take you very long, or you just bitten by the bug and straight into it?
It was probably a few months just because of like financial stuff. Yeah.
And then you continued racing four cross. Did you dabble in downhill or any other disciplines, or?
No, only four cross. Like, honestly, like, I only did that one race.
Yeah, okay.
And then got chosen for Worlds, which is where I had my accident. So, yeah.
So you have one race on a borrowed bike, come fourth and get chosen for Worlds.
Yeah, well, there wasn't many, like, the female squad wasn't super deep, so.
But still, that, like, rate of progression is insane. That's insane.
Well, yeah, BMX skills pretty well transfer across to four cross.
Mm.
It's just the gears and the front brakes was the only real thing you had to manage.
Feel like you're playing it down a little bit too, though. Like, it's still pretty impressive. Where was Worlds that year?
Rotorua.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that your first international race? Or?
So BMX, I'd been doing international since, my first one was like 2004.
Yep.
Went to Holland, and then 2005 was Paris for the Worlds.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
So you got your head around all that, and it was all pretty chill.
Yeah, and we'd been to New Zealand racing heaps, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like BMXs, Australia and New Zealand were always traveling between the two.
Okay. I'd never pictured them to have like a huge BMX scene over there.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Like, they've got some good riders still. Like, yeah.
Yeah, right. So, like, you get selected for Worlds. How long was it between that first race and heading over?
So what? Nationals was January, and then Worlds were August. So, 6 months between.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Did you have to change like your training up or anything like that, or was everything transferred from BMX?
Yeah, well, so the BMX Worlds that year were the month before in July.
Okay.
So, I was already training for that, and then just kind of
tacked on another World Cup. Yeah. Yeah, don't know that story at all personally myself. It's just funny when like you speak to athletes at that level and it's like, oh yeah, we had 2 world championships to go to in a couple of months. And you're so chill about it. Like it's insane.
Yeah. You don't know the difference though when you're in that lifestyle. It's like it's just normal.
Just another day, another world.
Yeah. Like I watch the dudes and like follow them on social media now, and like all of them just traveling across like different countries in Europe. Like it's a day-to-day thing. Like when you're living that life, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't remember what I was listening to the other day, but they were talking about athletes and stuff. But you look at that kind of lifestyle and you think it's amazing, and from the outside looking in, it's epic. But it could be super tough, and at the end of the day, it's still work, right? Like it's
it's all the little things like the airports and stuff that everyone doesn't see you have to deal with, and the excess baggage fees are suddenly like, you know, $1,000, and you're like, what? Like I got over here for free, but
yeah, right. Where did that happen?
Oh, all the time, because we traveled like as a big crew, like the Australian team. When you've suddenly got like 12 people trying to book bikes on at one time, they kind of the airlines freak out a bit.
I love that you get over there for free, but it's $1,000 each when you're coming home.
Yeah.
So Scotty Sharples and stuff, they selected you for the Oz team, and you head over to Rotorua. You're obviously pretty excited for all that. Like, and how was the experience with the Australian like mountain bike team compared to the BMX team? Was it much different, or?
Yeah, it was like way more laid back, and I guess because like you got the downhillers as well as like four cross and cross country, like whereas BMX is like we're all there for the same day doing the same thing. Like, yeah.
Is it like a competitive like feeling or attitude between like the Australian team for BMX? Like you're competing against each other a little bit more?
I know at that stage it was, because we'd never, like we were sort of the first crew that they'd brought together as a team to work together to, like obviously to race for the Olympics. Like we all started training together. But before that, it was such an individual thing that everyone just had their own programs and did their own thing. And then suddenly you're all thrown into a group and being like, yeah, be mates. Like, yeah. I think it's a bit more like the kids these days have grown up seeing it and are more receptive to like working together and being like an actual team. Whereas we were just like, yeah, here's your rival that you've been racing for like the last 10 years. Be like best mates, room together and everything now. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that rivalry comes from the fact you're like it? I guess four cross is the same, but you're all racing each other in BMX. Like you're not racing the clock as much, whereas mountain biking, especially downhill, you race the clock. So
yeah, I think that it's probably plays a part. Like someone like gives you a massive elbow and stacks you in a corner. Like it's hard to suddenly go back and be roommates with them.
Yeah.
Whereas like, yeah, I guess downhill and stuff's just all on the clock and you can't really take someone out.
Yeah, true. But four cross you could, so
yeah,
that's a little bit, yeah. But I guess everyone that raced four cross is in downhill anyway. So
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. What was it like being a part of the first? Sorry, we're jumping around a little bit, but I'm learning as we go. But what was it like being one of the first in that team? Was there like a sense of nervousness from everyone being like the first team to try and go to the Olympics and stuff as well, or?
I guess a little bit, but a lot of it was like a huge learning experience. Like we had like all the AIS staff and everything trying to like, you know, give us the straight and narrow, tell us what we got to do, and like full seriousness with drug testing and stuff like started then, I guess. And we had to go to all these lectures on like, nutrition and like drug testing lectures and
That's like the opposite of what I know a lot of freestyle or street BMXs, and it's like the complete opposite to anything those guys want to do.
Yeah, or even racing back then, we were just like, oh mate, this is like it's real serious now. Like, yeah. Yeah,
did it change your kind of view on BMX a little bit more, and that's why you kind of like the mountain bike side of things?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I grew up like racing and riding like dirt jumps and stuff. For me, it was just wanting to have fun. And I guess it's probably when I did my best, when I wasn't really thinking about the competitive stuff. I was just there like flowing, having fun. And then, yeah, suddenly it's like, oh, all these people telling you have to take it serious. And it was, I don't know, it was a bit hard, to be honest.
I feel like at that point as well, maybe the AIS didn't know what BMX was.
Oh, no, definitely not. Like, we'd rock up in the gym in like baggy clothes and whatever, and they wanted us to share the like same gym at the same time as like all the track sprinters and stuff. And they're like, they were full serious tight clothes, like full gym gear, and here we are in Vans and baggy shirts. And
that's so good. I'd love
kind
to
of the
see
outcasts.
that.
Yeah.
Because was it pretty much like all the track coaches and probably a lot of road coaches were trying to help out with the BMX? Like there wouldn't be a BMX specific coach at that time.
Yeah. Well, they hired Sean Dwight.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the Aussie coach at that time. And like obviously they had a few other people mentoring him, I guess, trying to show us all the way. But yeah, there was a lot of the track and roadie guys trying to get him.
But I guess like BMX and track does translate. I've seen it before, but it's still so different.
Yeah. They were trying to poach some people as well, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. A lot of the good track guys have come from BMX.
Yeah. Just that sprint power, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Although I believe like Nathan Rennee from Downhill still holds like the analog power record in the AIS or something crazy.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. He's got the leverage as well, tall dude.
He's huge. Yeah, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
And then like at the same time, you've got Scott Sharples, who's, from what I know, a bit of a chiller and a bit of a more kind of down to earth coach. So you got two completely different teams there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was it was a strange dynamic at that stage.
What was like your mental, like, did you have to mentally switch for either of them, or did you try and stay consistent through riding for both teams and both disciplines?
Well, Scotty Sharples was helping out with the BMX stuff as well.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I think because he'd been doing it a bit longer that they tried to get him in as a mentor as well. So
okay.
Yeah.
What kind of things does someone like Scott, what did he kind of do for you at that time? Like, how did he kind of help you out?
I don't know. I don't know. I can't really remember.
Okay, that's all right.
Well, for me, like he helped me honestly get into mountain biking because, he lent me that bike that I raced nationals on. And
yeah, okay, yep.
Yeah.
Sick. And you rock up to Rotorua for your mountain bike worlds. We'll go back to that now. But what was it like rocking up to that race? Was that your first kind of worlds for mountain biking, obviously?
Yeah.
Your second race, all right. So
yeah.
Was the vibe so much different?
Seemed to be like, honestly, I think I was only there for like 2 days before the race.
Okay.
So, I didn't even make it to open ceremony before I was, but like, the team seemed so much more chill. And like, I remember we went to the BMX track the day before, like I had practice and dudes were just like doing cutties in the bottom of the, like one of the burns, just,
yep.
Yeah. Not like full serious training or anything. They just seem to be having fun.
Being mountain bikers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so you didn't even get to the racing and stuff before your accident?
No, it was first day of practice.
Oh.
I think it was like third or fourth lap.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what kind of happened, if you don't mind talking about it, and what happened?
Yeah. So I can't fully remember it. Like,
it's pretty common. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I think it was the third straight was like downhill, pretty big, like I think massive jumps. And I'd done a couple of sight runs, like just chilling, doing some other jumps. But I got to the top and I was like, nah, I got to do it this run. And just like watched a couple of people and they're just sort of half-assing it and like casing it. And I was like, nah, I just want to do it. And I think I took a few too many cranks, hucked a bit too hard. From what I've been told, I fell about 10 meters straight to my head. Snapped my helmet in two, broke 2 bones in my neck, T4, 5, and 6 in my back, couple of ribs and my sternum. And I legitimately cannot remember from the corner before until like I woke up in the ambulance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like your brain sometimes just like wipes that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that trauma away. So how many broken bones? That's like 7 or 8?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
all major bones as well. That's...
Yeah, so I worked out, like, because I was wearing, like, a full-face helmet, where, like, if you lean forward where the front bit was, is, like, where my sternum broke and, like, the ribs and everything, so it's kind of,
That, the amount of force that's in, like, I can't comprehend the amount of force that would go through your head to bring your helmet around that far and then break bones.
Yeah. It's split all down the side, like
wow.
Saved my life, but it's in pieces now.
Do you still have it?
Yeah, it's in the cupboard just over there.
Yeah, right. That's
still got dirt in it from Rotorua and everything.
That's too good. So your neck would have been because of the hyperextension as well?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because that's pretty common from what I know of it. But yeah, and then 3 in your back?
Yeah, 3.
What was it like? Do you remember waking up in the ambulance?
Yeah.
And having that feeling? What was you kind of going through your mind when?
I literally remember saying, I was like, fuck, I can't feel my legs. And then the ambulance guy was like, oh, it could just be shock, like it could come back.
Yeah.
And then blacked out again.
Yeah, right.
Woke up next time was in the MRI machine. Yeah.
So were you having any of those concussion talks with the ambos and stuff and then woke up, or were you completely out?
I literally can't remember anything except for waking up going, fuck, I can't feel my legs, and then out again.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And then you woke up in the hospital?
Yeah, in the MRI machine. Yeah.
In the machine?
With the thing right in front of my face.
Sure. So they just put you in there unconsciously, or?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, right. So they just...
I guess they had to figure out what was up and...
Yeah. That's... Yeah. What... I can't imagine waking up in an MRI machine. What was kind of going through your mind at that point?
Not much. They're pretty much. Okay. I remember them coming over the intercoms, just being like, "Do not move."
Yeah.
And then I was pretty in and out. I remember. Yeah, I don't remember much for probably the first week.
So the brain trauma must have been huge as well.
Well, they didn't say anything about it. To me, obviously, they're probably just thinking about the spinal stuff was probably the most serious at that stage.
Yeah, right. It's I'm just interested because concussion is such a big topic at the moment, and then not being able to remember pretty much a week is huge.
I think they probably had me on some pretty good drugs too.
Yeah. You don't remember much from this planet.
Yeah.
So that first week, do you remember? So you don't remember much at all. You're just in and out.
It's I remember, parts, but I can't put it in order. It's just all sort of all over the place memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was it? I guess at some point you must have realized that perhaps your legs aren't going to come back, or you're not going to get that feeling back anymore. Was that a pretty daunting experience, or were you more oh, well, this is what's happening now? Yeah.
I guess to start with, I'd say to myself, fuck, am I paraplegic? What does that even mean? Yeah. At first I didn't really know I'd never really dealt with any sort of disability before in my life. And then, suddenly it's like, this is what they were telling me, but I couldn't really compute in my head. But I think it was like the second week. So after I'd had my surgery to stabilize my spine and everything, Vanessa Quinn, I don't know if you remember her, she was like a New Zealand downhiller.
I think so, roughly, yeah.
I think she was like world champ as well sometime, and she was pretty wicked. But her partner, he was in a wheelchair.
Okay.
He used to be a motocross rider, and got obviously paraplegic now. But he came in like the second week and just laid it to me straight. He's like, "This is what to expect. Like, this is what you can do. This is what you can't do. Like, just full like black and white. Like, this is what's going on." And then like sort of after I'd spoken to him, it sort of clicked in my head of like, all right, I can still live my life. Like, let's get on with it. Yeah.
I feel like, I have been brought up around like people with massive brain injuries and people in wheelchairs and stuff my whole life. Like my mum's a nurse at a hospital that specialised in that. So to me, it's kind of like normal.
Yeah.
The best way to put it, I guess. And a few people, like obviously I know people with massive injuries and stuff. So I kind of get it. But for most people, they don't truly understand what it actually means. And sometimes you need that person just to come in and be 100% blunt.
Yeah.
And not dilly-dally around and try and tell you in a nice way that you're not going to have your legs and a few other things.
I feel like the doctors and stuff, they sort of tiptoe around it because they don't want to be the person to say, no, you're not going to walk. But sometimes I guess that's what you need. Like, yeah. Yeah,
you just need someone to say, nah, it's not going to work. Like, let's move on.
Yeah.
What did they have to do in surgery to stabilize your back? Was there much metal work and stuff involved in that, or they fused a few?
Yeah, so they fused, like T4 and 5. I had rods like about that big, like.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, pretty big down my spine. I got them out like 2 years later because they were causing a bit of pain. But they also went through the front of my neck to stabilize C1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've still got that one in there because I'm like, nah, don't go back in and grab that one because that freaks me out.
That's freaking me out.
Yeah.
Are they good? So they went through the front, so you'd have some pretty gnarly. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty well in one of the wrinkles of my neck, so you can't really see it. Yeah. But yeah, it's like, I reckon about 5 centimeters across my neck.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's enough. It's funny that freaks you out, that going through that spot. It's not the pain or anything else, it's just going through there.
Yeah, well, when they said it, I was like, wait, but don't you have like massive arteries that you like don't want to touch, like going through the front? But I guess it was probably easier.
Breathing apparatus that you don't want to damage. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a surgeon, but it seems rather overcomplicated.
Yeah.
Again, like it could be like a bit of a dark spot or anything, but what was your like mental state like when after Mr. Quinn came in and chatted to you about all that? Were you just...
yeah, well, I couldn't, so they kept me in Auckland for like a month because I had fluid on my lungs as well and couldn't fly.
Wow. Yeah.
Because of that. So it wasn't until, we got back into Brisbane a month later that I was in an actual like specialized spinal ward and could start like getting back and like, living life, learning how to live the new life. But yeah, when we got back, it was pretty much, let's get into it. Let's pop some wheelies, learn how to do wheelies, and yeah.
Everyone, first time in a wheelchair. Let's get the wheelie. There's a huge difference between your standard ward and like a spinal ward as well. Like
it's like long term. Everyone is in there long term. Like.
Yeah, it's the one ward that no one's going to walk out of.
Well, there are some people that do, but
I guess I think
it's not the standard.
Yeah, I think that's something. I think I got that from Paul Bashagoisha or something.
Yeah.
This might go a little bit deep, but what is some of the things that kind of surprised you about dealing with that new life?
I guess the one thing that a lot of people don't understand is like paralyzed doesn't mean just like your legs. Like you've got issues with bowel, bladder, like your circulation. You got to be really conscious of like how you're sitting and your skin, because you can develop pressure sores really quickly, and then that can take you out for months, years of just, So to be honest, the walking's probably the easiest part. It's dealing with all the other shit.
Yeah. Because even like if you have a pressure sore or something, the blood flow's not there, or that healing process might not be as strong, so it takes longer for everything to heal, if I'm correct. Yeah.
And then like if it's on your butt, you can't sit up in your chair. Like you've literally bed bound until that heals. Which
on your front, and it's the worst. Yeah. It's just those little things, that I think most people don't know about it. Yeah.
It's like getting ready in the morning used to like, half hour out the door, no worries. And like now it can take up to like 3 hours.
Really?
Like just, depending on the day, depending how things go, it can, if I have to start work at 8:30, I'm up at 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What is it frustrating ever, or do you just deal with it?
Oh, it's definitely, gets fully frustrating, but like there's nothing really can do about it. So as shitty as you get with it, still got to deal with it.
Yeah. You're just not going to go to work that day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What were your thoughts, I guess, in regards to riding when that happened as well? Like it's your second ever race on a mountain bike, and then this happens. Like, were you kind of sad that you're not going to be riding anymore, or how'd that kind of go?
Yeah, well, I originally started looking because Stacey Cohart, that dude in Whistler, who's got the 4-wheel bike, like yeah. I initially started looking at those, but then the price, and I guess Australia isn't really set up for that kind of thing. Like he can jump on a chairlift, go to the top, sweet. Whereas here, everything's pretty pedal to the top, especially back then. There was no like shuttles really.
Yeah.
So I kind of gave up on that idea and just, I started taking, like, still hanging out with all my mates, decided to get into photography because I can still hang out with them, not feel like a weirdo just sitting on the side. Like, it gave me something to do. Yeah.
Yeah. I never forget seeing Stacey's part in New World Disorder.
Man, he still shreds. He's like 50 and like absolutely kills it.
It's next level watching him ride that thing.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely don't want to do that. Like it's one thing I'm okay.
Yeah.
You can do that. Was it as you said, like there's not even a scene or anything for that in Australia that I can think of, like when it comes to adaptive cycling?
Not back then.
No.
These days, there's starting to get a scene.
Okay.
Just with NDIS and these bikes available, like we can get it, we have to go through a full application process, but we can get it funded. And I know there's myself and one other guy in Brisbane. There's a few guys down in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Sydney, there's a few guys. And Western Australia, there's a company, Break the Boundary.
Okay.
They've got like a full adaptive mountain bike hub set up where you can like hire a bike and go for a ride, and
yeah, right.
So like it's slowly getting there.
Yeah, I've seen things like that in England, but I didn't know we had them here.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if Break the Boundary are the only people that do it, but they were the ones that got me back into riding. Like they came to Queensland to do a come and try thing. Just like a 3-day, and put my name down. And like I'd seen these bikes before, but never really like fully paid attention. And got out there and just had to go. I was like, I got to get one of these.
Because you've got the trike, right? You didn't go down the 4-wheeled option.
Yeah, three-wheeled, because there's a distributor out of Melbourne
Okay.
that does them. They're actually made over in Poland, but because they've got a distributor in Melbourne, like NDIS has to be through Australian dollars, so you can buy them.
Yes.
So you can get them through that. Yeah. Whereas Stacey doesn't make them anymore, and there's another one called a Bowhead, which is full electric and it's like gnarly, but they won't distribute out of Australia. You have to buy direct.
Yeah, okay.
Which means, and they're about 26, 30 grand.
That's getting up there.
So definitely not going that route. As much as I'd love to, I don't have 26 grand laying around.
NDIS would not love that.
No.
What was your trike worth roughly to get something like that?
I think it was about 16.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Because they're all custom made, I guess. When it's not there's not a huge market to keep costs down. So, yeah. And plus, anything disability specific, the price goes through the roof.
Don't get me started on that. Yeah, it's $40 to change a tube on a wheelchair from a disability.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. If any bike shops are out there listening, change wheelchair tires.
Yeah, as long as you've got an ABN and.
Yeah, it is absolutely ludicrous what they charge. Yeah, right. So $16K for that.
Yeah.
That's like pretty unattainable for most people, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, really.
Yeah. Well, I first saw these bikes back in 2011. Tari Yanis was riding one, and I saw an article. But yeah, obviously, with that price tag on them, I wasn't able to afford it myself. It wasn't till NDIS came in that it even became feasible for me.
And that's the National Disability scheme.
Yeah, insurance scheme. Yeah.
My missus is rolling over in her grave right now because she works for that and I can't even remember it. But that's been massively helpful, right? You kind of just say how that your trike is going to improve your health and well-being, and at the end of the day it costs less for them, and etc.
Exactly. Yeah. I think the whole NDIS thing is to get you living a life out in the community and essentially doing what you would be able to do before. So yeah, I met my partner after my accident, and he just happens to be he used to ride dirt jumps, I lived at his parents' place. He had acreage and they had massive dirt jumps in the backyard.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then we moved in together here, and we've got mountain bike tracks 2Ks down the road. So we got a enduro bike.
Yep.
And it wasn't we've been together, 7-8 years.
Yep.
And it's only the last year that I've actually been able to go ride with him.
Yeah, that's...
Spend more time, do something fun, yeah.
That's got to be a game changer.
Yeah, for sure. He's probably sick of it already. Used to be his getaway time, and now I'm can I come along?
Yeah. How are you faster than him up the climbs and stuff? Because obviously the trike is electric, or is it? Yeah.
The e-bike motor. I wouldn't be able to do it without the electric motor.
Is it still pedal assist, or is it throttle control?
So both.
Yep.
It only came as pedal assist, but it had a connection for a throttle. And after the first few rides, I'd be pedaling and had to get ready for a corner and be all off balance because the cranks aren't connected to the handlebars.
Yep.
So you have to let go of the bars to grab the cranks to pedal, and then let go of the cranks to grab the bars to turn. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So we decided after the first few times, we'll chuck a throttle on it. That way I can keep my hands on the bars, get ready for a berm, and not be off balance. But yeah, you can use the throttle at any time, but just choose through the battery a bit quicker.
Yeah. Because I'm guessing it's a 250 watt front motor or something like that.
Yeah. It's one of the aftermarket strap-on Bafang. I think Domino's use them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I know the ones the in-wheel motors.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not in-wheel.
Isn't it? It's in the
drive.
crank.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I was expecting it to be in the middle, in the wheel. Yeah, cool.
Mid-drive, yeah.
So it's not like so Grant Allen. I'm pretty sure you'd know who he is.
Yeah.
But he's got the road bikes, and I've seen the road bikes where the cranks steer the bike themselves, like the cranks rotate. But this one, you have to take your hands off the pedals to turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's got like a chest plate as well, because you're kneeling in it, so kneeling forward.
Yeah.
The chest plate's got like cables that go to the bars as well, but so you can lean and steer it.
Okay.
But it's not as sensitive, and my shoulders aren't wide enough to like get the lean, so I just grab
the handlebars. Yeah. It's cool that they're trying to get that. Does it feel like the same riding experience through leaning as it would a normal bike?
Like it is different, but yeah, I feel the kneeling like posture that my bike has is close to riding, because you're still like over the bars, and whereas like those roadie ones, you've got like your feet out the front and laid back. It's a bit weird.
It scares me watching that laid back style. I don't know how they see in front of them. Okay. So what was it like the first ride? How long did it take you to kind of get used to riding in that?
So first ride was like terrible.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we went to these tracks that were just like not suitable for my bike at all.
Okay.
Real tight, and there was a few bridges that are like real narrow that we didn't even think about.
Yep.
So the first riding experience was absolutely terrible. Like it peed with rain. We got absolutely soaked, and I'm just like, why am I doing this again?
Yep.
But we've now worked out like where we can, a lot more places where we can go that's more suitable. And just like the freedom again, just leave the wheelchair at the car and like out in the woods. Just feel like anyone else pretty much.
How wide is it? Roughly?
I think it's about 900.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a fairly wide track.
Yeah. One of the main issues we come up against is like two trees.
Yeah.
Just like too tight together, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Same as handlebar width, I guess. But
yeah.
And you wouldn't want to go any narrower than that, because then it's going to be super unstable.
Yeah. Well, it's still pretty tippy as it is.
Okay.
Off camber can get a bit sketchy.
Yeah.
But I guess there's got to be some
trade-offs, right?
Trade-offs. Yeah. I don't really know how they could fix it, really.
Yeah. I guess if you go wider, then it's just not going to turn.
Yeah.
So, yeah. When you're going downhill and uphill, is weight, these are just questions I'm really keen to know, but is weight distribution hard to manage, or is it quite planted both up and down? Because you're quite centralized, right? Yeah.
So it's pretty good, except when you're jumping, like if you get air, it's pretty front heavy.
Yeah. Okay.
So it just wants to dive bomb forward, but
yeah. What's it like to jump again?
It's pretty scary on this thing, because like it's just huck and pray. Like there's no way of fixing it once you've hit it. Like you can't distribute weight anyway. It's just hold on.
Because you're pretty much strapped in from like the hips up, right? So
yeah,
that's zero weight.
Yeah.
And is it 3 rear shocks on it that kind of operate the suspension?
So there's 1 shock on the rear, and then there's 2 on the front.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they obviously use some sort of linkage through there. Yeah.
Yeah.
How hard is it to find someone for like maintenance and stuff, or do you just do it all yourself?
So we've taken like to a few bike shops, and shocks are just regular shocks. So we took them to the NS guys, and they
Yep.
they hooked us up.
Mm. Aaron was stoked that I was getting you on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were running like trash, and then once those guys had a play, I was like, oh man, it's like new ball game, like so good. But the main thing we've had trouble is because like the front has 2 brakes, like one on each wheel, but it's joint together in one line.
Yeah.
So it's like forever playing up, like have to bleed them pretty much every time we ride.
What brakes are you running?
Shimano XT.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, we've like blown out one of the levers, like it just started leaking fluid because I guess it's not
Shimano.
Yep. Yeah. Well, it's not made to like pull 2 brakes at one time.
No.
So like
there is a lever that is though, and I'll send it to you later.
the Hope one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've looked into it.
Yeah. That thing looks really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know Grant did something for a young guy down here. They did something similar, but I can't remember how they did it.
Yeah.
It's all those little things that you don't think about when you're trying to build an adaptive cycle and get it right. There's just little things that always go wrong. It's super interesting, but super frustrating.
Yeah.
You mentioned like photography before as well.
Yeah.
You just got into that because you wanted to have something to do by the side of the trails, or was there any previous like interest in it?
I was like interested before my accident, but didn't have time, like training, riding, like there just wasn't any time to sit on the sides and take photos. So when I was in hospital, my dad actually bought me a camera, like an SLR, like an entry metal one. And yeah, after that I was like, because I'd still hang out at the skate parks with my mates and just feel a bit weird just sitting on the side, like bowl mole style. So at least if I had a camera in my hand taking photos, I felt kind of like I was meant to be there still.
Yeah, okay. I don't know how to phrase this question, but like, why did you need, I don't know, it just seems weird that someone that wants to watch people dead jumping needs a reason to be there, if you know what I mean. Like,
I don't know. It gets a bit boring as well, like just sitting and watching. You know, it gives me something to do. So
fair enough. Yeah. What SLR did you start with? What did you kind of get to start off with?
it's like a Canon 150D, I think.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Full entry model, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full kit lens, everything to go.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome of your dad to think of something like that, though.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And have you upgraded from there?
Yeah, I've got a 70 now.
Oh,
it's
cool.
still pretty old, but like I've upgraded the lenses and stuff, so that's the main part.
Yeah. So you're going pretty deep into the photography thing.
Yeah, I haven't taken photos for a while because since I got my mountain bike, I'm like, same deal, no time. Let's go ride.
Do you think you'll ever combine the two?
Like I've got a GoPro that I chuck on my mountain bike, but yeah, trying to get an SLR around as well at the same time as riding is a bit hard. Need a big burly backpack or something.
It's super difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a good experience with that on the weekend. It was fun.
Yeah.
Good old, the tripod was just sitting perfectly at the back of my neck, so I couldn't look up the entire ride.
Oh, no.
I'm just like looking at my front wheel. Yeah. It was pretty good. What, do you have any aspirations with your photography, or you just using it as a hobby?
Yeah, just pretty much hobby. Like if I can take photos of my mates and they're stoked on it and I'm stoked.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Best way to be. What would you ever be like? Are you ever interested in racing your trike?
I've had a few people ask me, but I don't know. Like I kind of feel like my full competitive side is what got me in a wheelchair to start with. Like maybe I should leave that behind.
But I can't remember who said it. I know a friend of mine's like, well, nothing else can happen from here, so let's just keep going.
Yeah.
But it's very flawed logic.
Yeah, like there's always a higher injury. I like being able to use my arms still, like.
Yeah, truth. Yeah. It's a lot worse injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, is there a group or anyone can like look at to find out more about adaptive cycling and stuff? Is there anything you're like a part of, or?
Like there's the Break the Boundary guys in WA. But other than that, I don't know. Like I've started a YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, sick.
Yeah,
cool.
Just like raw clips of where I've been riding. So if anyone else gets a bike, they can look at it and be like, "Oh yeah, this trail's doable." Cool. Because that's the hardest thing is like we go somewhere, get halfway down a trail, and it's like, figure out it's not. We can't get past this part, and you got to turn around and go back. Like
that's got to be frustrating. But have you had like a battery run out on you or anything like out in the bush yet?
Yeah.
How do you get out from there? Is it even possible, or?
Well, so it's still got the hand crank, so you can still crank.
Yeah, okay.
But up the hills, I had my partner Neil. He was like pushing me with one hand, pushing his bike in the other, just trying to get out. Yeah.
Oh, I can think of nothing worse.
Yeah. The bike's like 30 kilos plus me on it. Like.
Yeah. And rolling resistance from another tire.
Yeah.
What's the gearing on there? Is it just like a 12 speed or is it?
It's like an 11 speed. I got it's like internal gears in the hub, the Shimano.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a Nexus hub. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I guess they'd have to because you're running 20-inch wheels.
26.
26.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Is it harder to get tires now?
Yeah.
That's gonna suck.
It's like if I see any, I'm like, oh, should I grab them? Like,
well, some rim manufacturers are saying like 26-inch rims and wheels have gone up 30% in the COVID thing because people are just pulling out their older bikes, but like that's 30% of nothing that was left, so it's getting worse.
Yeah.
Can you just put 27.5-inch on, or is it?
I think I'd have to get like a new rear triangle.
Yep.
Yeah. But I know like the new ones they're making, because they update the bikes every time. Like literally 2 weeks after I ordered my bike, they released a new one with like 27.5.
Oh.
But like, we'd been through the process of getting it approved and everything.
Yeah.
Like it took 6 months for NDIS to go through all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're like, nah, we're not changing it now. Just stick with it.
Yeah. It's going to make the square root of nothing difference really for what you're. Yeah. I mean, rollability might change, but I don't know. Yeah. I'm interested in that. I'm going to look that up.
Yeah.
Cool. We might start wrapping things up a little bit, but it's super interesting to hear about like everything. What advice would you, I guess there's a couple of, like, what advice would you give to people looking to take their riding a little bit further and get into that kind of competitive field? And then I guess, like, what advice would you give to people that have had, like, bigger injuries and stuff like you?
Poor man. I don't know. I guess, like, the main thing for, like, getting competitive and stuff is just still have fun. Like, you can be hugely competitive and, like, not be having fun and then just end up hating the sport. Like, yeah. So as long as you keep it fun, don't get too serious, and it should all, it all sort of flows on.
100%.
Yeah.
And what about people that have had like a bigger injury or perhaps found themselves in a wheelchair, or I hate the word disabled, or in a different spot?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I guess, everyone's like injury is different, so everyone's going to deal with it differently. But like life can still go on, like you can still have fun. There's so much more out there these days. Like, you know, these bikes and stuff weren't around when I had my injury, really. And yeah, with the like NDIS makes things easier to come apart. Like I'll come along and just get out there. Like I know when I was first injured, I didn't really want to be seen with people in wheelchairs because like, it's like that thing of, I don't know, people stare. Like if there's, you know, if people stare enough with one person in a wheelchair, like if you got a crew, like even if they are friends and mates, like people just stare more.
Yeah. Okay.
And I guess when you're first injured, like that's a big deal. Yeah. Like it makes you feel different.
Yeah.
But honestly, like if you end up, like if you're in a wheelchair or whatever, talk to other people in wheelchairs because the life experience that you can gain from like an advice that they can give you, like, yeah, it helps leaps and bounds. Like, yeah.
I guess like doctors and therapists and everyone else has probably dealt with like a bunch of people in that situation, but they've never been in that situation. So sometimes it really helps to hear from people. I
know like the occupational therapists and physios, they teach you what they've learnt, like from a book. They're like, this is how you have to do it. Like, this is what we're taught. This is what you have to do. Whereas people with lived experience, like they don't have to go off a book. Like,
no,
they can teach you all the tricks that the occupational therapists and physios don't want you to know because it could be dangerous.
Because they don't have insurance lingering over their head. I've seen some sketchy stuff before and it's impressive. Yeah. Yeah, it's with your, I know I said write things up, but with your NDIS stuff, was that all done through yourself? Or did you have like a coordinator?
So for my bike, like you have to, for equipment and stuff, you have to get an occupational therapist report and all that kind of stuff and then submit it to the NDIS. But yeah, for my first plan and stuff, I did have someone help me out to be like, because, you know, they've been through it before. They're like, this is what you can ask for. Like, we get someone to mow the lawns. Like, I didn't know I could ask for someone to do that. Like,
it's insane.
Yeah.
It's not taking advantage of anything, but it definitely like helps. Like you can do so much through it. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I don't know I'm going off on a tangent here, but it seems like there's a lot of people that don't want to accept that help. And, or they just don't believe that it can actually happen, and then they don't bother talking about it with anyone, and they're missing out on such a good opportunity.
I find newly injured people, because like with my work, I work for a disability support company.
Yeah, cool.
So we get the whole spectrum, but I find people that have like newly injured now that have come in and only NDIS is like, that's all they know. They ask for so much more than what people that have been through.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess they're so used to be told no from like the government.
Yeah. Like we had to scrounge off a few $100 for medical supplies like a year, you know?
Yeah.
And now it's like, you can have it, go for it. Here's your money. Like,
and it's game changing. Like it legitimately changes people. It's insane to watch. It's really cool to watch. We
were having to, like, back in the day, reuse stuff that's meant to be sterile. We had to, like, boil the kettle and sterilize it ourselves. And now it's like, no, you can, like, buy sterile ones every time you need them. Like, it's a huge difference.
It costs so much less in the long run. You could get infected and then blah, blah, blah. Whereas now it's just like, let's just do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do love customizing some things and watching people adapt through NDIS and working things out. Yeah, it's cool. What do you have any regrets at all? That's like one of my other major questions I like to ask, but do you regret kind of sending that jump or anything at all? Or?
Yeah, I'd be lying to say like I don't regret it because, you know, I'm sure life could have been just as hard like if I didn't, but, you know, if I didn't send it, yeah, I probably might still be on two wheels, like instead of three. So, but it is what it is. Got to live with it. So get on with life. Yeah.
But then again, you might not be doing what you do now. So
exactly.
That flip side, yeah. What do you kind of do now for that support coordination work? It's pretty rare to have someone in a disability support role that has a disability, which is also seriously weird. But yeah.
Yeah. So the company I work for is like specifically for people with spinal cord damage.
Okay.
So we actually have quite a few people in wheelchairs like
That's
work
amazing.
through us through support and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got like a peer support team that go up to the hospital and like talk to newly injured people, essentially the same as what Vanessa's husband did for me. Like,
yeah. That's epic. What's the company called? Just so people can know.
Spinal Life Australia.
Spinal Life Australia. There you go.
Yeah. So it's Queensland based, but we do have an office in Western Australia as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything involved with like disability and NDI stuff is usually just state based for some reason as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit weird. Yeah, right. That's so epic that you've got like a peer group that can go in and help people and advise like what you got. Like that's so good.
Yeah.
Last question I like to ask seems to be one of the hardest as well, but what music do you like to listen to when you need to get like motivated? If you do listen to anything, if you need to get motivated or get the energy up.
Yeah, so I'm sort of a punk and hardcore kind of person.
Good.
Yeah. Got was it New Architects came out like yesterday? That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Bit of Parkway and Polaris and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Crank that in the gym.
That's perfect. Being from Adelaide in like the mid 90s, you would have had to be in like a Kill the Prom Queen and stuff like that as well, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like a massive scene back here in that time.
Yeah, I moved up here when I was 17, so.
Okay.
Yeah, all the like overage gigs, I didn't get to go to any of that kind of stuff.
Oh, no. Yeah. No, the underground back here in Adelaide was an underage bar, and that's where like Prom Queen and a bunch of people started. Like I think Parkway played there when I was a kid. It cost $10 to go watch.
What?
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, cool. That's some really good motivating music. I like it. I dig it. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on and sharing your story. It's been really cool to listen to.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
That's all right. I guess what's your YouTube channel? I will put it in the link and stuff. But where can people follow you on Instagram and stuff as well?
So my Instagram's Renee Junga.
Yeah.
And YouTube, honestly, I'd have to look it up. I think it's Adaptive or AMTB SE Southeast Queensland.
Okay. Yeah. SE.
Yeah.
I'll find it and we'll post it in the in the notes.
It's not a really catchy name, but yeah.
It works. It's always harder to remember your own channel names. You never search for it. Well, thanks again so much for coming on. It's been a real pleasure. I hope you had a good time and yeah.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you. Hopefully we'll catch up sometime. I'll come up to Queensland and visit the NS boys and we'll go for a ride. Yeah,
for sure. I come down to Adelaide a fair bit too because my whole family's down there. So
yeah, okay. Sick. Yeah. We'll find some tracks.
For sure.
I'll go out with like a measuring stick and we'll make sure those wheels can get through.
I think like my partner, we went down for Christmas. My partner went out riding and he reckons O'Halloran Hill should be sweet.
Actually, O'Hal would be pretty much what I think would be perfect. Yeah, Cobblers and Fox. Hopefully something at Fox gets built. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pushing for it. Nice. All right, perfect. Enjoy the rest of your night. And again, thanks for taking the time out. Cheers. Perfect. Speak soon. See ya. Bye.